Across the wide grass expanse of Montrose Aerodrome, the wind blows up from the south as it has done since the distant days before the First World War. The gulls turn slowly above the long coastline of northeast Scotland, out to the horizon and further into the bitter North Sea, where the threat of raiders above and below the sea preoccupied the generations that defended this island. Montrose is a pleasantly situated seaside town that has quietly supported the vital defensive work carried on here. Pilots of the Royal Flying Corps in the First War, the Royal Air Force in the Second, flying here on reconnaissance, training, or repelling an attack, would have glimpsed the familiar spire of the old Kirk of Montrose, by the gleaming edge of the great disk of Montrose Basin, sparkling in the sun or sullen and grey when a storm's approaching. The approaching storm in Europe in 1912, German military and naval forces massing, requiring a response, among others the air defence of Scottish naval bases. Montrose was chosen that year as the site of the first military air station in Scotland, to the south of the town at Upper Dysart. But the twisting wind, the natural foe of the aviator, made the first site unsuitable, and so it was that Brimfield was chosen finally. The aeroplane sheds are still here to this day. Erected in 1913, they are the oldest hangars for military aircraft in the world. The maintenance of the early machines at Montrose was carried out in these sheds, and from the width of the doorways and their height, the scale of the First World War fighters can be seen. This row of buildings, simple and dignified, seems to have the flavour of that other age and time of conflict. When the First War ended, the sheds became a workshop for the repair and restoration of guns and tanks. Montrose Aerodrome became an RAF flying training school, turning out pilots for the not-too-distant Second World War in 1939. Aspiring aviators were taken from basic to advanced skills here, becoming fully qualified service pilots. The elegant biplane, the Hawker Hart, was replaced by the Miles Master as one of the main trainers for the growing numbers of Hurricane and Spitfire fighters. From aerodromes along the coastline, the RAF patrolled east and northeast almost to Norway, looking out for submarines and spotting German raiders attempting to break into the North Atlantic, and threatening the convoys of food ships that kept the country going then. So once again, Montrose looked out to sea for the enemy. The defences of the aerodrome were built up. 9 defended forts or pillboxes were installed, manned by riflemen and a machine gunner, but attacks came low and fast from the air, making an effective response difficult to achieve in spite of radar warning. The aerodrome buildings are still here today. The ruined control tower and machine gun butts from the Second World War, and at one entrance by a railway bridge over a now disused branch line, the remains of the original battle headquarters, topped by an anti-aircraft gun, still stands out bravely. On the runway itself, the iron mesh, that's Summerfield track, is still embedded into the grass, strengthening the airfield surface. In October 1940, 3 Junker 88 bombers of the Luftwaffe flew over the air station at 50 feet, dropping bombs and killing 5 men, wounding 18, destroying 2 hangars and the officers' accommodation. Hurricanes of 111 Squadron based at the aerodrome had no time to get airborne. Montrose was not, unfortunately, linked to the main Fighter Command communications system, and being coastal, the aerodrome was open to the danger of low-level raids. Number 603 Squadron Spitfires defended the station from January to April 1940, first clearing the runway of training aircraft by firing a red flare before taking off. The Spitfires were replaced by Hurricanes from 232 Squadron for a time. Night flying training was dangerous here, the flare path being very faint and the mountains rising steeply to the northwest. Many crashes happened on these hillsides in difficult conditions. Looking around the aerodrome nowadays, a strong feeling of its history seems to surround you. Somehow past and present seem to get mixed. July the 11th, 1945, the date when Montrose Air Station closed down, the war being over. Since then, the runway has been used for night helicopter training and an RAF Hercules exercise, as well as light aircraft events and model aircraft flying. The Montrose Aerodrome Museum is working now towards an extensive display of the life and times of the aerodrome. Putting it in perspective is an essential part of the struggle and bravery of those who were trained to fly here and who fought here and elsewhere in the defence of freedom.